Welcome to a new series I'm starting, similar to a previous series I've done in the past. That was, I did a review of every South Park episode of season 20. I haven't done that this year of that because I don't really have much to say on season 21, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about The Walking Dead, season 8. Episode 1, which is called Mercy, and yeah, I'm later than everyone else, because I had to see this later, so I saw this yesterday, on recording, of course. I gotta wait to watch it with my parents. Yeah, I watched it with my parents, it's kind of pathetic. But before I go into this episode, I gotta say that, I'm not the typical Walking Dead fan. Most of the fans, talk about the show non-stop. I didn't start with the show at all, actually. So basically, I first heard about The Walking Dead. Well, it was the show. I remember hearing about the show, and no one shuts the fuck up about it. But I got into The Walking Dead through the video game. I played the first game, and I played all those games. And I noticed that they're connected to the comic series. So I read the whole comic series. I got addicted to that as well. I was like, huh. I don't know about the show because I hear bad stuff. Well, I heard positive. I hear the positive stuff, but it doesn't make as much sense as the negative stuff. I was like, oh well, I feel like I gotta see it now. And I saw the first season on Netflix, and I was like, this is pretty good. Actually, it was very well made. It had a lot of flaws of it, honestly, but the directing, of course, makes up for it. Of course, they had the one of the best directors of all time working on it. That's probably why. Season 2 obviously has a downhill, but I was expecting a lot worse in Season 2, just because I hear a lot of horror stories. Season 3 is, it goes downhill even more. I feel like Rick's character finally makes his full nosedive. Yeah, at the end of Season 3, they kill Merle off, pretty much the best character in the show. And that's, other than that, his death and everything, Daryl's character goes downhill after that. Then the whole rest of the series, oh shit, it is bad. It's mediocre, not bad. It goes from that's good to oh, I hate that. I hate when it does a terrible adaptation of a comic scene. Either do your own thing, or just stop. Don't ruin something. My least favorite moment is when Rick, I was all of a sudden, I think it's season 5. Randomly, he says, "We are the Walking Dead," very quietly. It's in the barn. It's what? Why did you say that? That's one of the most famous lines of the comics. And then Daryl's like, "No, we're not." And that's that. Honestly, that pissed me off so much. Only because I remember how great the original scene was. But there, it didn't make any sense. It's okay, fuck, this felt like a fuck you to the audience. With the introduction of Negan, I know it's something they've done a lot. They have a lot of comic scenes where a lot of times they try to do similar, very similar things. But they always do it something very differently. They did the Tate and Meat scene. Mostly the same, except the fucking character was Bob instead of Dale, so the scene was shit. But the lines were pretty much verbatim. They've done this before, very kind of similar scene. They loosely follow the comics. When season 7 comes along, most of the Negan scenes are just straight up from the comics. So it's weird to see this the scene that seems a lot better paced and written than the rest. But it's only one scene. But a lot of them are the Negan scenes. I do have a slight problem with Negan, but it's not really a big one. I like him a lot in the show, but he's missing something that the comic one has. He just works better. He just works better as a comic character, but he's still better than most of the other fucking characters in the show. But I just talked about the fucking show by itself. And I need to talk about this episode. This episode was like the rest of the series. Sorry, I get cough. Mediocre. Nothing bad. The CGI effects, they weren't that much, but when you see them, oh my god, they were terrible. The plot of the episode is that it sort of follows All Out War beginning part, very similarly, it closely, but not as entertaining. It's very more boring. Basically, it jumps around way too much, but the main plot is that Rick, so there's no mystery if Dwight is working with them. Apparently people say, oh, is Dwight actually a good guy? Here's he's clearly working with them. He's on some outposts, like, and there's like kill these people at the outpost. There's only one fucking person at each outpost, which isn't like anything like the comics. There's a bunch of people there, which is basically how Negan runs operations. Is that the sanctuary doesn't have that much people compared to the other locations, but the saviors are out in these like places, and they actually have the war battles there. It's actually a good place to have battles. So I don't know if they're doing the same things. There's like one person each post. They have all the main characters there. They don't do anything. And only Rick's the one that actually has any screen time, which makes sense. But because usually Rick has like no screen time in like his show. I'm not kidding. He doesn't feel like a main character most of the time. They give characters, I guess, some screen time. Like, oh, here's Daryl on his motorcycle shooting a crossbow. That's cool, right? People won't shut the fuck up about Daryl, and honestly, I know everyone's gonna kill me for this. I don't care for Daryl at all. I thought he was I thought he was cool in season 1, 2, and 3, and then he lost his whole character when Merle died. Like, okay, he just does nothing better than ride a motorcycle and shoot a crossbow. I like a bit more. I like to have a personality, like doing stuff. Okay, yeah, it has to have some meat on its bones, and there's nothing there. It's just Daryl, and that's supposed to like, yeah, no, I have to have something to work with. So that's the whole fucking plot. They go to the sanctuary, they threaten Negan with cars. They have all the fucking 3 people there. It's similar to the comics. Rick's like, oh, other people work with Negan, like the main people, like Simon and Dwight, and I think I don't never heard name. This one bitch and the other guy who worked for the Kingdom. He's like, you guys help us. And they didn't do anything. And Negan's like, yeah, fuck you, Rick. He does his usual. I don't think he leans, but I was like, for some reason I imagine him leaning. He doesn't. Yeah, for some reason the show version leans a lot. He doesn't do that in the comics. But I think I can't explain why Negan leans all the time. I think in the comics he's really huge, so he's not a giant, but he'll be like 7 feet if he was in real life. He's a tall guy. He's a pretty big guy, so he towers over everybody, especially Rick, who's a little prick. And basically, JDM, as people call the actor, he's not really that tall. He's average height, so he's basically the same height as Rick. So in the other characters too, I think Spencer's actually taller than him, which if you compare to the scenes in the comic, he's like way taller than Spencer. So basically, I think the leaning makes him look kind of more big, honestly, or maybe it's like a laid back thing. I don't know. That's my reason. But yeah, he does the same thing he does in the comics. He sends out Gregory. He's like, he forces Gregory to say the Hilltop's not working for them. Nobody from the Hilltop leaves. Like some of them do in the comics, but no one there does. Well, the difference between here is that Maggie hasn't taken control of the Hilltop. In the show she has, in the comics she hasn't yet. So pretty much nobody fucking leaves. Then Negan I think it was Simon pushing him down the steps. Simon's actually one of two good characters that are made up for the show that I actually like. There's probably some that are okay, but like the one or two, like I say, I 100% like. That being Merle, of course. Who doesn't like Merle Dixon? But that's pretty much all that happens, to be honest. Yeah, but there's like one scene where this guy at this gas station, who's a Muslim, I guess. I guess they have to have the Muslim support, I guess. It felt weird. Anyway, Carl gives him supplies after Rick shoots above his head. I'm surprised Rick didn't kill him, honestly. Because this Rick seems to like to kill a lot of people. He doesn't do that in the comics, but he kills everybody without having any sign of remorse. I mean, I know sometimes, like, there's a reason for him to kill people, but a lot of times he doesn't seem to care that he does it. Like, at all, when the comic version would never do that. And it's like, it feels like we're missing a lot of that. They're missing a lot of character development for Rick, which is a weird thing. Especially when they, like, have so much fillers, like, thinking actually fill some of that filler for actually meaningful shit. The performances, we don't really get much from the... Like, even though I don't like Lace characters, I feel like some of these guys are really good actors, but they give nothing to work with. They're, like, a lot of it's very static. And it really shows, because I recently saw the Robot Chicken Walking Dead special, and the funny thing about that is that all the characters use the same voice actors from the show. Not the voice actors, the actors from the show are doing the voices for their characters. And, like, a lot of them, like, especially, like, Andrew Lakin as Rick, is a Robot Chicken version of Rick. So, like, he's actually pretty good as Rick. He's, like, pretty funny there. He's because of the live performance there. It's like he was like, wow, that's actually the same guy. Because in the show they give him nothing to do other than like do your bad Southern accent, point at Carl and fall on the ground. Like what the fuck? What are they thinking? I know I'm ranting about the show because there's not much to talk about other than this. Okay, I gotta mention this because this one you see in the pictures. It's the new beginning Rick with the beard, the old man beard. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? They're not saying. I thought they were gonna do it at the end of it, like their show like that. But nope, they do a flash forward like this fucking Lost or something. Which, by the way, Lost pretty overrated. I can go on to why I'm indifferent to Lost, where I half liked it and half hated it. But one of them was the flash forwards, which happens later on. But I never liked the flashbacks to begin with. So adding flash forward made me like stop watching the show, to be honest. But yeah, that's another story. But basically, it shows Rick. Of course, no one fucking understands. They don't read the comics. They're like, what's going on here? Basically, at the end of the All Out War saga, there's a 2-year gap. And in the 2-year gap, there's like 2 council games happen. But that's another point. Rick builds up his 4 communities, and then he becomes the main leader of Alexandria, and everything is peachy, as not Negan wouldn't say that. It goes peachy for Rick, and then he's married, and he's been. I guess Carl's actually not. It didn't become the future serial killer, but we do see Michonne and Carl. I don't think they had the Carl's look from the the new beginning look, which a lot of people didn't like, me included. For one, the sunglasses look like dumb, and where the fuck's the hat? Bring back Carl's hat. Characters don't get rid of their hats, you know? They don't. I don't. I know that for certain. Whatever. It also shows an older version of Judith, so I guess maybe they'll do something for her when she's older. She wanted to see an owl statue or something like that. I think that's our old reference to that. There's like an owl statue back in the day, I think. It was a reference to the old thing. Back in the old... whatever, I don't give a shit. This is an old show reference. Whatever. Not really old show. It's back in the beginning of Alexandria days. Whatever. I'm going on a tangent. Yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say on this episode. It's mediocre at best. Worst, it's mediocre. At best, it's mediocre. It's mediocre, and most of the time I was going on a tangent about what I think about the show, because I honestly got a lot to say about this shit. Let's see. Oh yeah, I also brought to mention that Gabrielle Stokes, which is a character I hate in the comics, but I tolerate in the show. Since there's a lot worse characters in the show, I don't hate him as much. But he gets trapped in an RV with Negan, which I guess that'll be a plot point for the next episode. Are they gonna do a next episode? I don't fucking know. Other than like one thing, they really can't. I guess they can do another filler episode. They can do whatever the fuck they want. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you like this. I got a feeling I'm gonna get dislikes just because I said I didn't like Daryl. But, you know, whatever. I guess I'll see you in the next part, which I'll probably do this, because it was fun to do. This will probably be less long, unless something actually happens in the episode, because I want to rant about the show itself. But hey, this is Kyle the Hedgehog, signing out.